on, guys? The Comics Kid 2099 here to talk to you about a Darth Maul comic book that I checked out from the library. This is called Darth Maul. This is written by Cullen Bunn with art by Luke Ross, Nolan Woodard, Chris Eliopoulos, and Jordan Belair. This is a 5-issue miniseries set before Star Wars The Phantom Menace. Basically, Darth Maul, who is the secret Sith Padawan, if you will, of Darth Palpatine, or Emperor Palpatine, he finds out that there is a Jedi Padawan who has been kidnapped by some pirates out in the middle of nowhere, and because he is sick and tired of Palpatine refusing to let him go out and kill Jedi, he is going to secretly go out there and kidnap this Padawan so that he can kill her himself, so that he can actually do what he has been trained to do. Darth Maul is not a character I am especially interested in. I am mostly just familiar with the movies, with the exception of a few pieces of expanded universe stuff here and there. Mostly I am familiar with the movies. And in the movies, specifically The Phantom Menace, Darth Maul is a nothing character. He had one line of dialogue, and a lot of people say Darth Maul's driving characteristic is his anger. His rage is what keeps him going. And if you watch The Phantom Menace, you definitely will not pick up on that. His one line of dialogue, he sounds really bored. He doesn't sound angry. And I think I read or watched an interview where the voice actor who delivered that one line of dialogue talked about how he had to do like 50 or 60 takes of that single line. Because George Lucas, say what you will about him, he is not much of a people's director. He will either say, do more or do less, but he won't give much actual direction for his actors. I've been reading a book about the making of the original Star Wars movie, and some of the actors involved with that said George Lucas doesn't really do direction in that way. And so probably he had this one single line of dialogue for Darth Maul, and then the actor had to do it a whole bunch of times, and if I had to guess, I would say George Lucas probably picked one of the last takes of that line when the actor was getting really tired of doing it and had no idea what he was doing right or wrong, so he just kept doing it, and then he sounded really bored delivering that line of dialogue. And if I had to guess, based on what I know about Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, Lucas then used one of the worst takes of that line, and so we have a character saying, "Yes, my master, at last the Jedi will be dead. We will have our revenge." And that character is supposed to be really angry and enraged, and I just don't see it. Maybe that wasn't even the intention from George Lucas. I don't know. Maybe whoever was in charge of all of the expanded universe stuff after The Phantom Menace came out, maybe someone doing a comic or a novel or a video game or whatever said, what if this Darth Maul guy is really angry all the time? And then they took the character in that direction. So by the time you get to this comic book, Darth Maul, his whole thing is, I'm angry. And when I first saw this announced, I thought, hey, Cullen Bunn doing a villain protagonist book, that's a really good idea, because he did a Magneto series, lasted about 20 issues or so. He did a Sinestro series that lasted about that long, and he is really good at taking these villains and allowing the audience to care about the villains and root for them, but not taking away the aspects that make them enemies to their respective heroes. Now, when he wrote the Magneto series, Magneto was more in a gray area. He wasn't full-on villain like he has been in the past, but he wasn't 100% allied with the X-Men either at that point, and Magneto is one of those characters, depending on who you ask. Some people will say he's full-on villain, some people will say, no, look at all these things he did, he's not a villain at all. So he's one of those characters who you could kind of, depending on what angle you look at the character, maybe he is a bad guy, maybe he isn't. Sinestro is also one of those characters who, before 2004 or so, he wasn't a very interesting or fleshed out character. It wasn't until the return of Hal Jordan in Green Lantern Rebirth, I think, that Jeff Johns started making Sinestro into more of a three-dimensional character. So with both Magneto and Sinestro, those are characters who had been fleshed out enough that it made sense to give those characters their own series, and then give someone like Cullen Bunn, who can really unfold the nuances of those characters in those books, while also not taking away their villainous qualities. The problem I have with Darth Maul, I have never seen any of his appearances in the TV series Rebels. I have never seen his appearances in Clone Wars. The only things that I'm familiar with are The Phantom Menace, and then this and one other book, basically. And so, with this character who is basically a nothing character, I don't feel like Cullen Bunn had a whole lot to work with. So if you want to nearly kill yourself, take a drink every time this character mentions in captions for the audience or dialogue to another character, I'm angry, I'm enraged, I'm full of vengeance, something like that. Something that reminds the audience, hey, I'm a really angry character, and I want to paraphrase Tywin Lannister from Game of Thrones. If you have to remind everyone that you're angry, then you're not really angry. I feel like because this character wasn't very fleshed out before this miniseries, if I had to guess, I'm going to say Cullen Bunn latched onto the single dimension that this character had and tried with all his might to make that dimension, make this character feel like an actual character. And at the end of the book, I'm kind of just like, okay. So basically, the plot here is that Darth Maul, he goes and he frees this Jedi Padawan, and then he says, I'm going to kill you because I'm really angry that a long, long time ago, the Jedi, they extinguished a lot of the Sith. And this is one of those things, I don't really know why Darth Maul is angry about that, because as far as I know, the Sith are not a species, it is a religion. And Darth Maul was not born with this religion. This is something he came to much later in life. I'm not really sure when he first started studying under Darth Sidious, but this is not something that he's had for most of his life. So I don't know why he is upset at the Jedi who are alive now about something that happened maybe over 1,000 years ago. We're not sure when the extinction of the Sith was. In The Phantom Menace, the Conehead guy, I think he said that the Sith have been gone for over a millennia. So that's a really long time. I don't know why Darth Maul wants revenge for that. Although I will give this book credit, at least it is giving us something. I cannot tell you how miffed I was at the Star Wars prequels where Darth Maul says, at last we will have our revenge, and then the movies never tell us why the Sith want revenge. At least this is giving us something. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense because, like I said, why would this guy be mad about something that happened that long ago? And is this something that actually happened? Because Palpatine is the one telling Maul a long time ago the Jedi extinguished most of the Sith, can we trust anything Palpatine says? Or is he just trying to wind up Darth Maul so that he can send him on a rampage and use him, but maybe that's not exactly what happened? Later in the book, when Maul is about ready to kill this Jedi Padawan, he says, you Jedi, you extinguished most of the Sith. And she doesn't really respond to that. She doesn't say, that's not true. So either this is something that happened and all the Jedi know about it, or it is something that happened and none of the Jedi know about it, in which case I would think she would say, hang on a second, that's not what my master taught me, or something like that. Or maybe she's saying, right now I'm just going to roll along with whatever he throws at me, and then I'm going to try to get out of here, and then I will question my master about if this thing happened, in which case that needs to be given to us in the book. But overall, I like that at least we have a reason that Darth Maul wants revenge against the Jedi, although I still think it's pretty weak, but it's better than nothing. I do wish that this story had been something else, because looking at Darth Maul's life, I was thinking it would have been really cool to have seen, like, when Emperor Palpatine was first training Darth Maul, when he's like a little tiny kid, and he's first latching onto anger. That kind of would have been interesting to see, maybe. And that's an era of Star Wars we probably haven't explored a whole lot. That would have been probably about 10 years before The Phantom Menace, and I don't know if anyone has really dipped their toes in that era of Star Wars. Or after Darth Maul's apparent death in The Phantom Menace, he apparently rises in the ranks of the criminal underworld. I would love to see a story about him starting with nothing and then becoming the head of a criminal empire. That sounds much more interesting to me than what this story does. What this story does, spoilers, he says, the only thing that can make me happy and can give me fulfillment is if I kill the Jedi. And then he kills this Jedi, and then he says, I don't feel fulfillment. Oh well, I'm going to keep killing Jedi. Okay, we know which direction Darth Maul is headed, so this book cannot deviate from that destination. But then, why does Darth Maul think killing more Jedi is going to give him fulfillment if killing this Jedi did not give him fulfillment? And the book doesn't really get into that. Overall, I don't think that Darth Maul is a complete waste of a character. I would have said yes, he was before reading this book, because in The Phantom Menace, there's just nothing done with him. I do think that there are characters out there who are are really boring and really uninteresting, and there are writers out there who can take those characters and do something interesting with them. But you have to choose the right story to do with those characters. And unfortunately, I just don't think this story is very interesting. Darth Maul keeps talking about how he's angry, how he's enraged, and I just don't see a lot of reason for that. And then he kills a Jedi, and then he says, well, I don't feel any different. So I'm not really sure what I was expecting here, but after tasting Cullen Bunn's work on Magneto and Sinestro, I was really kind of hoping for something more. And to be fair, both of those books lasted a lot longer than 5 issues. Magneto, it lasted close to 20, maybe 25. I don't remember how long the Sinestro series lasted. Both of them at least 4 or 5 volumes, whereas this is all done in 1 volume. So Cullen Bunn doesn't have as much room to really get into this character, and maybe if he did, I would have liked this a little bit more. But unfortunately, I didn't really feel very much reading this one. Maybe you guys like it, and if you did, let me know why in the comments below. Let me know what I am missing with this book. In the meantime, I will see you guys in the future. Have a great rest of the day. Catch you later.